Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Sandy Toad Tarot, and to the midweek reading. Midweek I always do a pick a card reading, and this week I decided to do it on relationships of sorts. I was asked by one of my subscribers to do a reading on will he express his love and feelings for me, and how. To me, that's a very specific question, and it's probably better addressed in a personal reading. So I decided to do kind of like a modified version of that. First of all, I do have male subscribers too. So I have made it more general, and I've asked the question, what are his or her feelings toward me? There are a couple of things to keep in mind when you start talking about relationships and when you start doing readings about relationships. First of all, we all have free will. So it is really hard to kind of get into the head of another person. Things change very quickly when it comes to relationships. Sometimes not, but it's just important to know that we're dealing with a snapshot in time. These are the messages that came out in this particular reading. People's feelings change all the time based on interactions with the person they're dealing with, based on sometimes, based on interactions with other people, based on so many things. So when it comes to love, and here is something that I kind of struggle with myself as far as spiritualists and people who are into the metaphysical and New Age philosophy. I do feel like there are a lot of conflicting terminology out there. Some people call twin flames like that person that you're intended to be with in this lifetime. Sometimes people will call that a soulmate. Sometimes that's a karmic relationship. So there's just a lot of different terminology out there, and I think that you have to come to whatever it is that you believe about those things. Me personally, I do believe in soul connections. I do believe that you come into relationships at certain times in your life with people that you are intended to be with. Maybe that is for that time, maybe it's not for forever, right? Sometimes I do feel like those are karmic relationships, that you enter into that relationship because of a contract that you made before coming here, and before being born to your parents on this earth at this time. So it's like a soul contract that you have with this person. You have something that you need to learn, and you can only learn it through that relationship. So a lot of times, once you have learned that lesson, then that person moves out of your life. So I do not necessarily believe in forever love. I think that can happen for some people. So that being said, there are also, in my opinion, a million different kind of relationships in between. I think it's all very individual, and I think that the most important relationship that you have in this lifetime is the relationship that you have with yourself. And I think if you do want to find a love relationship, and so many of us do, everybody wants love, right? The most important thing is for you to first find out who you are, and then love yourself, flaws and all. And then when that happens, that opens you up to finding a relationship that is healthy, that can be a magnificent part of your life, whether that is for a lifetime or if it is just for a time. So those are just some of my opinions about relationships. I will be happy to read these cards and try to answer this question, what are his or her feelings toward me? But keep in mind, it is all very fluid. and this is a general reading. So if it resonates with you, fine, and if it doesn't, just let it go. All right, I have chosen 4 piles again, and I'm using different cards, a little bit of different cards this time because this is a different kind of question. So I will put the camera down and you can decide which pile is speaking to you for this pick a card reading. Okay, so for the pick a card reading today, what are his or her feelings toward me? I have 4 piles here, and I will tell you the stones that I have on the piles. You can use the stones to decide which pile is speaking to you. You don't have to. You can choose any way that you wish, actually. But on pile 1, I have a Bloodstone. On pile 2, I have a Malachite. On pile 3, I have an Amethyst. And on pile 4, I have a Garnet. So go ahead and pause the video and choose the pile that's speaking to you. They're numbered this time, so that makes it easy to see 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can choose by the stones, you can choose by the number, you can choose randomly. However it is that you choose, it's the right way for you. So choose your pile, and then I will start with pile 1. I'll put the timestamps in the description box below so you can go directly to the pile that's speaking to you, find out what your reading is for that pile. Okay, if you chose pile 1 for your pick a card, what are his or her feelings towards me? These are going to be your messages. I have a Bloodstone on that particular pile, and the Bloodstone fills you with courage, self-esteem, and energy. And it has great healing properties and can restore you to your natural state of joy and vitality. So if you're interested in the Bloodstone and want to pick one up to put in your pocket, that's what it can help you with. All right, so pile 1. Okay, so as always, I tend to choose the Herbal Tarot for advice from Spirit, so we will hold off on those for a little bit. I have here from the Sacred Contracts, the Journey deck, I have a couple of cards here that I thought we should get, first of all, some insight on how this person sees you first, before we find out how they feel about you. And I chose the Rider-Waite deck, my standard deck that I've had for 25 years, to see if we can figure out what his or her feelings are towards you. But let's start with the Sacred Contracts, the Journey, because these cards are just archetypes. So this will tell us a little bit, hopefully, about how this person sees you. Okay, so we have Student, and we have Scribe. So these are very similar cards. So I feel like this person, you may be an actual student, but you may just be a studious person. They feel like that you're someone who always has their head in a book, a continuous learner. You have this great thirst for knowledge, and you're open to lifelong learning. That could be how they see you. You may actually, the card of Scribe is the card for a writer. So you may actually be a writer. In any case, you like to collect information and knowledge, and you like to preserve it. And maybe you like to preserve it for future generations. So that's just basically how they see you. They see you as a very serious person and a very studious person, someone who's very intelligent, and someone who has a continuous thirst for knowledge. Okay, so let's see if we can see how they feel about you. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Temperance card. We have the Nine of Cups. And we have the Page card. Okay. I'm sorry, the Page of Cups. Well, I think what this person feels about you is a lot. They do have some feelings for you. This Page of Cups, by the way, is the card of Pisces. If you happen to be a Pisces or have some Pisces in your chart, or this other person might be a Pisces or have some Pisces in their chart. So just in general, the Pisces is a water sign, and water signs are very emotional. They're very observant and mysterious, but they are good with emotional kinds of things, and they understand emotions. Pisces, their most desirable trait is that they are submissive, and that just means they can go with the flow. They're a very mutable sign, and that's kind of that water thing too. They can kind of go with the flow. They kind of understand that not everything is going to be the same way every single day. That things change, seasons change. It's a very moon energy. The Pisces, that's where that mysteriousness comes from. There's a lot going on beneath the surface with the Pisces. The other astrological energy that we have here is the Sagittarius. The Temperance is the major arcana sign for Sagittarius, and a Sagittarius is a fire sign. So this is kind of interesting. These two would be interesting. A fire sign and a water sign. So this Sagittarius, fire signs are passionate, they're enthusiastic, and they're very interesting. Sagittarius people are very much adventurous, and I love that about them. They're always up for it. They're just up for it, right? Whatever it is, they're willing to do something new. They're very driven by principles, Sagittarius are. Very intelligent, highly intelligent people. But doers, very much doers and shakers. Very interesting people. Okay, so when you think about the elements, this is another way to look at relationships too. When you are a water sign and you're in a relationship with a fire sign, you have to think about the elements of water and earth. So just on a very basic level, what does water do to fire? It puts it out, right? What does fire do to water? It makes it boil. It's like, so a fire sign with a water sign, that there would be a lot of, if you make someone's blood boil, there's a lot of passion there, right? It's like, oh, you just really kind of get me going kind of thing. But a fire sign might have a lot of ideas that the water signs would kind of put a damper on a little bit, because they're not as adventurous. They're just not. Artistic people, the water signs can be really artistic. The fire signs are your race car drivers. So you're kind of getting the picture. This is very general. Okay. So, as far as the feelings are concerned, there is absolutely genuine affection. This person, who I feel is very young, has very much a genuine affection for you. And by young, I mean under the age of 30. That's kind of where I cut off the pages. They actually feel like you are their wish come true. Whatever it is that they would desire in a relationship, you check all those boxes. So there's a lot of wish fulfillment in this relationship, and there is a lot of potential in this relationship, because I feel like they see you as someone who could be someone to marry and someone to have a family with. They see you as mother or father potential. And then you have this progression here. Cups are always emotions. So relationships and emotions. So love, relationships, emotions. So you have this progression from the 9 to the 10. I feel like that they really have genuine affection for you. I feel like they're going to offer you something in the way of a relationship. And I think, at least on the ideal level, they idealistically, if not practically, want to see that relationship progress to a very serious relationship that includes love and marriage. So the Temperance card is a card. You notice the angel has 2 cups here. It's like a blending. It's like a balancing. In relationships, to me, the Temperance card is always shows up when you're dealing with people who have 2 very different backgrounds. I use religion sometimes, like maybe one of the individuals in the relationship is Jewish, the other is Catholic. If those families are very traditional in those particular religions, that would take compromise for this couple to come together and for these families to come together and support a marriage. So this can also be people from 2 different races. It can be people from 2 different countries that are very diverse. It wouldn't be like, okay, 2 European countries. Those are really very close. It's more like 1 European country and 1 Asian. You know, they have that really very different background and different understanding of life and how things should be. So while this relationship is very promising, this person absolutely has feelings for you and wants to offer you something in the way of a relationship. However, they realize that there are some very big differences between the 2 of you that will have to be, you'll have to use, this is the card of alchemy, right? Blending 2 together to make one really, really amazing elixir or whatever it is. In this case, relationship. So I think that's all very positive. Let's look and see what we have with advice from Spirit here. Got a lot of cards. Okay, so we got the 4 of Cups, the 3 of Swords, the Strength card, and the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so I think this advice from Spirit is kind of more about you and where you are at. It feels like with the 4 of Cups, if you notice, cups again are emotions, love, relationships, those kinds of things. You have 3 cups here. You're sitting on the ground, staring at these 3 cups and thinking, oh, I know they're cups. I know cups are good, but I'm not really interested in any of them. And then there's a 4th cup coming in. Anytime you see a hand coming out of a cloud in a tarot card, that means that it's a gift from God, right? So the divine is offering you something in the way of love. Someone's offering you something in the way of love, and you're kind of very dissatisfied with it. It's like you don't know whether you want it or not. So I think the reason that you don't know whether you want it or not is because you have been hurt before. There has been some heartbreak. I don't feel like it's been with this person. I think it maybe has been with someone else. Someone has seriously broken your heart. It took a long time to get over that. It took all the strength that you had in you, actually, to get over that. It was a very painful and very difficult situation, and that has put you in this place of just being very dissatisfied with everything that you're being offered in the way of love, because it feels like it feels like it would be hard. It feels like it would be a burden. It's like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the energy for that. I don't know if this is the right person. What if I make another mistake like I did last time? I think that's just kind of the energy that you're in right now. I think that things have been a little bit rough in the relationship area. I think that you've kind of gotten away from it. You have maybe gotten really focused on your studies, maybe your work. You've become very focused on something else that has absolutely nothing to do with relationships because they were just too painful for you and you needed a break from that. But the Nine of Pentacles is a very happy card. It is actually a wish fulfillment card as well. The Nine of Pentacles is a woman who is in a very lush environment because she has everything that she absolutely needs. If you notice that, she, as far as money is concerned, she's good. As far as a place to live, material things, she is absolutely good. She probably has some good friends that she goes out with sometimes. She probably has good relationships with her family and her extended family, her brothers and sisters, her parents, and that kind of thing. She's just an abundant woman who is living a very abundant life. However, she is alone. There is some part of her that wants this, that is very desirous of this situation. It is very appealing to her on some level, but she's not sure if she's up for it. She's got this very comfortable life. She has everything that she needs in her life, but the one thing that she does not have is love. So the message of these cards to me is that you will need to open yourself up to love in order to have this amazing relationship that is, by the way, your heart's desire. To have this and to have the whole shebang, everything that you wanted the first time that you tried to have a relationship with somebody, or the first couple of times you tried to have a relationship with somebody and it ended in heartache. This is the offer of all of those things that you wanted before. It's right in front of you, and you're a little bit afraid. You're going to have to muster the strength to say, okay, I will try it one more time. Because this, whether it's a forever relationship or not, this person that you're dealing with, absolutely, he or she absolutely wants you to try to go in that direction. They absolutely want to see if they can have a future with you. I do hope that you will consider pursuing it and letting this person come into your life and you guys trying to work it out, because I feel like you will be better off in the end, whether it works out or whether it doesn't work out. I think that there is enough genuine affection here that it will show you that not everybody is going to break your heart. Okay, so that's all I have for pile one. If this message resonated with you, please put it down in the comments below. And also let me know how it turns out. Until next time, I'm wishing you much light and love. Namaste. Okay, so if you chose pile 2 with the Malachite on it, these are going to be your messages for the pick a card reading. What are his or her feelings toward me? I had to think there for a minute. What is this reading about? So it's what is his or her feelings toward me. So let's talk about the Malachite a little bit. The Malachite represents the healing green of nature. So it promotes healing, peace, and balance, and it enhances wisdom and intuition, and it brings abundance and good fortune. So this is a nice crystal to have to carry around on you should you be interested. All right, so this is just a number card, pile 2. These Herbal Tarot, I choose these as advice from Spirit, so we'll hold off on those for a minute. For this particular reading, I chose a couple of Sacred Contracts, The Journey cards. These are archetype cards. So I chose these to see if we can get on some insight as to what this person, he or her, how he or her sees you. So the cards that you got are Athlete. The light attributes of the athlete are dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. So that's the Athlete card. And the other card we got is Healer, and that is passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit. An ability to help transform pain into healing. So it seems to me these seem a little bit different, but together they kind of make sense. Like maybe they see you as maybe you are some kind of a healer. Maybe you're into psychology, the medical field, or a nurse, or something like that. With the physical thing here, an athlete using your willpower to overcome physical limits, that tells me it might be more of maybe a physical therapist kind of person, or maybe you are a nutritionist slash personal trainer kind of person. Those kinds of people would be what we would call healers in modern day society. Like in the old days, that would be the healers would be like the alchemist, right, who made teas and those kinds of things. But we know in modern society that eating a good diet and exercising, that is a very good way to heal your body and to have a good quality of life. Maybe if you're not, actually if that's not your occupation or whatever, they just see you as being into this or having these particular attributes. So let's take a look at the Rider-Waite cards and see if we can get what his or her feelings are toward you. So we got the Knight of Pentacles. We got the Magician. We got the Eight of Pentacles. Got the Hanged Man. And the Seven of Pentacles. So this, to me, says a few things. One, we could very well be dealing with at least one earth sign or two earth signs when we talk about this relationship, Pentacles are earth signs. There are a lot of pentacles here. But mostly I think it is they think of how they feel about you is that you are a very stable person. They feel like what you would bring to their life is stability, and specifically monetary stability. Like maybe you have you have a good foundation financially, you have a house, or you have a good job, or you have some money, you come from money, your parents have money, somebody has money, but they feel like that you are a very stable person and you can bring that into their life. They see you as someone, and this kind of goes along with the healer kind of, nurses are kind of like this. They're very they're very sacrificing. The hangman can mean a couple of things. It can mean like looking at things from a different perspective. It can also mean like being at a time when things are in a standstill. But from this perspective, I think it means sacrificing. They look at you as someone who can make a sacrifice for what it is that they want, and it looks like they think that what you want is stability, probably family, probably a very traditional relationship. You have the Eight of Pentacles here, which is making good money at what you do. It is through taking one pentacle that you love and through carving it on that one pentacle that you love, you create abundance. You create a whole bunch of pentacles. So they see you as doing something that you love that has brought a lot of stability to your life. They also see you as being the type of person that if you love something, you are going to be willing to put in the work. It's not always going to be a bed of roses. The Seven of Pentacles is like a natural, it's like being in a place of deciding. Like you have worked hard at something, you're in a place, well, you've reached a point where you can take like a natural break. It's a natural point to look back on what you have accomplished and to make a decision about whether you want to move forward with that or not. They see you as someone who is very loyal to the practicality of a relationship. This is, to me, reminds me of, I have a lot of Catholic friends, and a lot of my Catholic friends say they don't marry the person, they don't commit to the person, they're committing to marriage. So this seems to me like someone who knows what committed is, who would be loyal, who would be willing to make sacrifices for the person that they love, who would stick to it, who would be very stable. Like when things got rough, they would be willing to work at the relationship and they would be willing to stick to it, because it just seems like a very traditional person. This person also feels like you have it all, basically, that you have everything that you could possibly need in the way of not just money, but in the way of emotional stability, in the way of being adventurous too, in the way of being logical and intellectual. They just see you as being that kind of person that just has it all, that has everything that they could possibly want in a relationship, and you kind of embody all of that. And they also feel like maybe this person is athletic and competitive too, because they feel like they won. They feel like they won when they caught your attention. And what they won is someone who is very stable, who is, or at least seems very stable, who has money, who has a house, who has financial stability, who has a emotional stability as well, can be very loyal and very committed in a relationship. They just see you as a just very solid, stable person who can make sacrifices and will make sacrifices for the person that they love, for the relationship, who has the stick-to-itiveness to stay in a relationship. I will tell you this one thing, though. I don't see any love here. I think this is, well, there is a little bit of emotion there. To me, this is almost a relationship of very traditional kind of when you choose your partner, you choose them for stability, maybe more than romance. And that used to be a very, very common thing. Like even families would arrange marriages for people for financial reasons. Like they would make it would be a power situation where, you know, one kingdom needed the power of another kingdom, so they would make a union of a couple so that those two kingdoms could thrive financially. In like the 1950s, women did not have the options that they have today, so they would want to make sure that they married well so that they would be taken care of financially. This almost seems like a very traditional kind of marriage arrangement as opposed to a relationship that is based on love. So if that is what you're into, it seems to me that the person that you're dealing with, he or she sees you, how they feel towards you is they feel like you are that stability. You could provide that stability for them. All right, so let's take a look at these advice from Spirit. So what we have is the Medicine Wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune in the Rider-Waite deck. And we have the Judgment card. Okay, so this is interesting. This advice is kind of giving you a choice here. It's kind of saying, Fortune, if you're looking for a relationship that provides financial stability, Fortune has shined upon you, and you will have it with this relationship, with this person. But the advice is also saying, wake up to life. So the Judgment is a card. If you notice, this woman is standing beside a gravestone. It kind of indicates that she's been a little bit dead in some way, a little bit numbed in some way. Not a physical death, but just to life, a little bit numb. And Spirit is sounding the trumpet and saying, wake up, because you're missing it a little bit. So what I think is, this is a little bit of a choice here. If you do want stability, this is absolutely something that you can have. And you won the jackpot with this particular relationship, if that is what you're looking for. But Spirit is advising you to wake up and look around. That this may not be, it may be fine for now, but it may not be all that there is out there in the world that is for you. The earthiness of this spread here and what the feelings are in the relationship feels like it would be good in the short term, especially if you have not had a lot of stability in your life. You would feel like this is amazing that someone can take care of me and someone wants to take care of me. But in the long term, it might not be a whole life. You know what I mean? Like there are other things out there in life besides monetary stability. There's love, and there's passion, and there's adventure, and there's just so many things out there. And maybe you want to look into experiencing it all fully and not miss your life. I'm going to leave that there because this is absolutely up to you. It is just a matter of what it is that you're looking for out of life. I'm just telling you what you found in this particular relationship, and if that's what you want, then I wish you all the best. And if you decide that's not what you want and you want to go out there and experience life to the fullest, I wish you all the best with that too. It's just entirely up to you. Okay, so that's all I have for pile 2. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste. Okay, if you chose pile 3 for the pick a card question, what are his or her feelings toward me? These are going to be your messages. So I have an amethyst on pile 3, and amethyst promotes calmness, balance, and peace, and it improves intellect and cerebral thought. The literal meaning for amethyst is not intoxicated, so it makes you very clear, and you can use it whenever you need to feel grounded. It's amethyst is a very widely used stone, so if you would be interested in that, you should get one of those and put it in your pocket. Okay, so if you chose pile 3, let's talk about this. First of all, the herbal tarot cards I chose as advice from Spirit, so we will hold off on those for a minute. So before we talk about what his or her feelings are toward you, I thought we could look at how this person sees you. So to do that, I chose the Sacred Contracts, the Journey cards, and these are archetypes. So this will tell us a little bit about how they see you. So the first card we got is Advocate. The light attribute of Advocate, there's always a shadow attribute too, but the light attribute is it inspires you to put compassion into action. And the other card we got was an Alchemist. So the light attribute is transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. So an alchemist is kind of, think of a pharmacist, right? They're mixing and blending a bunch of things to make something new, a new elixir. So what I think about when I see these two cards together, and this is just an example of what these, this person could kind of see you. It reminds me of, I have a niece that is very, I call her hippie trippy a little bit, but in a good way. I love her to death. But she's very into like herbal medicine. She's very into nutrition as medicine. She's very into organic, healthy, that kind of person. So when I see Advocate, and I don't want to say radical, but that's the only word that's coming to mind. She can be a little bit radical about it, in that she would be the type of person that would go on shows and tell people about this stuff, be an advocate for eating right to cure things for your medicine, and doing an herbal tea for medicine instead of actually taking a synthetic pill. So that's what these kind of just speak when I think about it. I mean, that doesn't mean that that's what you are, or that's what you're into. That's just an example of what these two cards might be. An advocate, of course, could be an advocate for anything. Maybe you're a guardian ad litem for in the judicial system, like you're an advocate for children, or maybe you just are passionate about things and you're not afraid to stand up for what you think is right. Maybe you're an advocate for change. The alchemy to me is the shadow side of it is misuse of the power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. So alchemy to me, it really does seem almost like medicine woman kind of person, or a medicine man. Maybe you're a pharmacist. I don't know. Okay, so let's take a look at the Rider-Waite. These will tell us what his or her feelings are toward you. We have the Star. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Four of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords. And we have the Justice card. Well, so first of all, they do see you as a very fair and balanced person. And this kind of maybe goes along with that advocate thing too. Like if you see something unjust happening in the world, you're going to be the kind of person that's going to stand up and say, no, that's wrong. We're not going to do that. You know, gutsy. So they do see you as having a lot of integrity and being very fair in your dealings with people and being very balanced as a person. We have the Star card here, and this Star card is the card of hope. It is always a yes card in a reading. It's a really positive card. It can be like a superstar kind of thing. He or she sees you as a superstar kind of person. Like your light is shining really brightly, and your light is shining really brightly, and they want to penetrate it. I don't mean it in that way. I mean they want to come in. They want to come into this energy. They really are, I think, looking at you from afar and are very interested in this energy. But they almost kind of feel like, okay, so the Nine of Pentacles is a woman, as you can tell, lives a very abundant life. She has everything that she can possibly need, especially financially. She has a home, she has a family, she has friends, she lives the life. She's in a lush garden surrounded by grapes. She probably has some wine in the cellar. She's a very successful and a very competent woman on her own. But you notice she is alone. This person is alone. So whether it's a man or a woman, they are alone. They have everything that they can possibly need. The one thing that they do not have in their life is love. Sorry about that. I got something caught in my throat. Okay, so these two things at first blush look like a little bit of a dichotomy here. So what we have is the Four of Swords, and the Four of Swords is kind of the rest card. It's the relaxation card. It's the getting some much needed rest. It's being a little bit under the weather and needing to take to the bed and get your rest and take care of yourself. The Knight of Swords, this is the card of rashness. It's a card of sudden changes. It's a card of going into battle. And interestingly enough, I think both of these cards pertain to this right here. We got the Advocate card over here, right? So it's very obvious that this person is into justice and they are not afraid to fight for what it is that they believe in. If they believe that they are on the side of right, this person has so much integrity. This is how they see you. They see you as having so much integrity that you are absolutely willing to fight for what is right, whether it benefits you or not. That you have the guts to do that. This is, to me, the card of just being in a tranquil place, just from the balance that you have in your life. This is the Justice card also stands for balance, and you have this idealism, but you also have this very good support system around you. You have the money that you need, you have the family, you have everything that you need. It seems like to this person, him or her, how they view you is almost impenetrable, almost like you do not need anybody. They might feel a little bit intimidated by you. Like you have it all. You have so much integrity. You fight the good fight out in the world to bring hope to people who do not have hope. So they kind of idolize you a little bit, is what I'm seeing here. Let's look at these advice from Spirit and see if we get any more information here. Okay, so we got the Two of Cups, and we have the Queen of Cups. All right, so I don't think this person is too far off. I think they're probably pretty close about their assessment of you. You kind of are like this. You do have a lot of integrity. You're not afraid to be an advocate to fight for what's right and give hope to people out there in the world. But you kind of don't. You're so put together. You have it so together yourself personally. You kind of don't make space in your heart for other people. You kind of have a little trouble letting people in. So what the advice from Spirit is, open up your heart. See if you can find some of the Queen of Wands or the Queen of Cups energy, because the Queen of Cups is a person. First of all, it's a Scorpio card. Scorpio, Libra, Aquarius. That's all I see. But in general, the Queen of Cups is a woman who is very emotional and very comfortable dealing in the emotional realm. She is a woman who follows her heart. She might wear her heart on her sleeve a little bit, but she's okay with that because she wants to live from a place of love. Children love this particular queen because she is a very benevolent queen. She's very kind to people. Now, when I say queen, like I said, this is energy, right? So you could be a man or you could be a woman, either one. This is just saying the advice from Spirit is to embrace this, embrace the emotional, embrace the love. Let somebody love you. Let it be okay for you to love somebody else. Because the other card that you got here from the advice from Spirit is the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is a love relationship. It is a partnership. It is the beginnings of a relationship that has a lot of promise. So I think what Spirit is saying is embrace the Queen of Cups, embrace the heart energy, embrace this relationship, let this person in. which is not necessarily going to be easy for you. But if you do, it will be very rewarding. They have so much respect for you. I think they are not the problem. I think that they're willing to go here. I think that this would be okay. I think now, and there are no guarantees in relationships, right? Just because you start a relationship and it's promising, that doesn't mean you're going to be in that relationship forever. But this does mean that the foundation is good. The heart is in the right place with this person. They want to see where it goes. They have very genuine respect for you and very genuine feelings. So open up your heart a little bit to a relationship, and if you do that, I think that you will be very pleasantly surprised. So that's all I had for pile 3. I hope this was helpful, and until next time, I'm sending you much light and love. Namaste. Okay, if you chose number 4 for the pick a card reading, what are his or her feelings toward me? These are going to be your messages. So let's talk about the garnet. This has a garnet stone on it. I always tell people what the stones mean in case they want crystals or stones or whatever they are, gemstones. In case they want to run, get one and start using it for the energies, because they all have healing properties in them. So the garnet increases energy and strength, and it enhances courage and vitality, and it provides protection as well. So that's the garnet, in case you want to grab one of those and put it in your pocket. Okay, so this is pile number 4. Let's see what messages we got here. All right, so the Herbal Tarot is advice from Spirit, so I will put those down here, and we'll look at those in a minute. For this reading, I chose a couple of cards. This one had 3, but I chose a couple of cards from the Sacred Contracts, the Journey cards. So these have archetypes on them, and I chose these to see, okay, so we want to find out how this person feels about you, but also how do they see you. So let's take a look at these cards. We have the dilettante, and the light attributes of the dilettante is delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. The shadow aspects of the dilettante is pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. I had to actually look the word up, the dilettante word up. I didn't know what that was. I'd never heard of that before. Okay. So we have bully. So the light attributes, it highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. The shadow attribute is conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. So this is how this person sees you. That's what these cards are for. And the last one is gambler. The light attributes are willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. And the shadow attribute is relying on luck rather than hard work. Gambler. So look. Okay, I don't know who this person is that you asked about, but they see you as a dilettante, not necessarily, maybe like being pretentious and pretending like you have more knowledge than you actually do about something. They see you as a gambler, taking all the hard-earned money and going to gamble instead of putting all your time and effort into working hard for something. And they see you as a bully, intimidating others. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I don't know who this person is, but they do not have a very high opinion of you. Don't get me wrong. That's an opinion, right? Whether this is true or not, I don't know. But they do not have a very good opinion of you. All right, so let's see how they feel. We have the 9 of Wands. We have the Hermit card. We have the Death card. And we have the Fool. Okay, so this is a little bit heavy. So the 9 of Wands is the card of literally being battle worn, that being exhausted with a situation. Wands are energy, right? So this person is exhausted. They have no energy left. They are at the end of a situation that has been very burdensome to them. The 9 is an ending. So that tells me that they are at the end of it. And this also tells me that they're at the end of it. The Death card does not mean a literal death. It means I am done with the situation. It is over. I am willing to let this go, and I am going to reinvent myself. Okay, so the Hermit card, Virgo energy, Scorpio energy. The Hermit card is a card of going within. It's a card from taking your leave from the world, going to a place of solitude and finding that inner light within, and finding that inner wisdom, and finding that part of you that tells you which direction you need to go into next. It's just a place, it's really just a time of solitude, of solitary contemplation is what it is. That is also a 9. So, okay, so how they see you, how he or she sees you is, this is kind of odd. Okay, so they see you as a kind of a bully and a blowhard, professing to have knowledge that you don't necessarily have. They see you as a gambler. But they also see you as being battle worn from this situation, this relationship here. They see you as being the one that is exhausted. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe you do have these character traits and you're exhausted with it. You have taken some time to go within. You are willing to let this go, to reinvent yourself. And the Death card is like a phoenix rising out of the ashes. Like, this is over, but I am rising out of the ashes and I'm going to move forward. And that's where we get the Fool card. The Fool is the 0 in the Major Arcana card. It is the beginning. It is all that is. It represents all that is, including all potential. Like, everything is possible right now. I have been through it. I have been through a really, really rough situation. I have maybe gone within or sought the help from a therapist to go within and fix the situation. And I have let that fall away. And I'm stepping out on faith into a new world. This is how this person sees you, which, quite frankly, is pretty commendable, right? It almost like you were living a life of bullshit, and you had the guts to look at it. Very, very few people have the guts to do that. To go within, to go deep within and fix problems that they have on that deep of a level, and saying, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. I have to fix this. And then fixing it, and then being able to start fresh, being able to start your life fresh. They have to have a lot of respect for you, because that's amazing to me. That takes a lot of guts. Let's see what we have here. Advice from Spirit. So we have the Three of Cups. We have the Six of Wands. And we have the Emperor card. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is really cool. I'm proud of you. So the Emperor card is it's the Father order, right? It's the Father in the Major Arcana deck. It's like establishing yourself out in the world. You're doing it through determination, through will, through strength, through action. The Emperor, I say this all the time. So there are 4 kings, right, in the Minor Arcana deck. There's the King of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the King of Wands. So when you get to be a king in those suits, that means that you have mastered all of those energies. The Emperor is the king of all kings. The Emperor is over all 4 of those kings. That means this is a big deal. That means that you have mastered a lot in your life. The Emperor does not get on this throne without being battle worn. They have defeated all of their enemies, and that's how he got to this throne. He or she. It's energy, right? It's not gender. So women can absolutely embody this Emperor energy. So this is advice from Spirit. This is Spirit telling you this is what's happening as you step out on faith here, as you dare to have a new life after what looks like some pretty intense stuff. You are establishing yourself in the world. The Six of Swords is the victory card. Imagine this guy riding into town with his one wand, waving it like he's riding on a horse into this town, and all the townspeople are coming up to congratulate him because he has won. He won the battle. And that's how he became the Emperor. And when the townspeople come to congratulate this guy for winning, there's a party. The Three of Cups is always a celebration. It's a celebration, definitely, of a victory. So this can be a celebration of anything. But in this particular deck, it is a celebration, or in this particular reading, it is a celebration of this victory that you have had over some really, really tough stuff in your life that you have had to overcome. You've not only dealt with some things that have happened to you, you've dealt with your own stuff, your own shadow self, and you have overcome it. You dared to let this die, even though it was probably, it was what you were used to, probably was what you grew up in, so that's what you became. You had the guts to let that die and dare to dream of a new life out there. Wow, that is so cool. And you're doing it. You are winning. You've won the battle. You've won the war. You've won the whole thing. You are winning. You're riding into town. The townspeople are coming up to celebrate you for this amazing victory, and you are establishing yourself out in the world. How exciting is that? Oh my gosh, that was an interesting reading. I don't know who he or she is and why they feel this way about you. I don't know if what we're talking about is a love relationship here or not. I'm not seeing that really necessarily in the cards. But it could be. You never know. What is very sure in these cards is that you have overcome a lot, and you have to be so proud of yourself at how you have managed your life, how you have managed to turn it around, and now what you are doing that is absolutely going to be amazing for you, and a complete turnaround for you. You win. Wow, that's fantastic. So that's all I have for pile 4. Until next time, I'm sending you much light and love. Namaste.